In this video, we're going to be talking about wine yeast. With so many different manufacturers out there, with so many different brands of wine yeast for each manufacturer, it's kind of difficult at times to determine which one of these is going to be best for your next bottle of one of these. So we're going to have a talk about that. Hi, I'm Charles, and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on the shoestring budget. Of course, as always, if you like what you see here, please click on the subscribe button, and I will continue to do these on a more regular basis. Now then, you've got Red Star, you've got Lalvin, you've got Vintner's Harvest, you've got White Labs, you've got yeast, and if it's all you got, sometimes it's got to be Fleischmann's. You've got a lot of different yeast manufacturers out there producing a lot of different types of yeast. Which one of these is going to be best for one of these? We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail, focusing primarily on Red Star with Lalvin equivalents in the comment section. Now, if we take our wine yeast in order of alcohol tolerance preferences from lowest to highest, the first one we're going to start with is our Kute Blanc. I think I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right?
Kute Blanc.
Good enough. It has an alcohol tolerance of between 12 and 14%. It has a temperature range for fermentation of anywhere between 64 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And for you non-imperial folk, that comes to 17.7 degrees to 30 degrees Celsius. It's a relatively slow fermenter, and the best wines that are used, that this particular yeast is used for, are going to be your whites and your rosés. Get back up here. Let's see, go nowhere. Whites and your rosés. Get back up here. No escapes. Its characteristics of this particular yeast are it's designed to produce fruity aromas. The best characteristic for this particular wine yeast, though, is that it's designed to leave some residual sweetness in your wines. In other words, it's not going to take it to bone dry, not normally. Now, our next wine in the list is going to be our Premier Classique. Now, it has an alcohol tolerance of 15% or thereabouts. Fermentation temperature between 60 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, so it gets up there. And that translates into 15.6 to 32.2 degrees Celsius. It's a moderate fermentation speed. Best wines for this to be used with are going to be your reds and your rosés. It will ferment to dry. It does have good flavor complexity, and it brings out intense colors on the wine. Get back up there. Okay, coming up next is going to be our Premier Rouge. It also has an alcohol tolerance of 15%. It also has a temperature range in fermentation of between 65 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which translates into 18.3 and 30 degrees Celsius. This is a quick fermenter. It will ferment relatively fast. Best wines for it are going to be your reds. It's a strong, even fermenter that produces full-body reds. Okay, coming up as our runner-up is going to be our Premier Cuvee. It has an alcohol tolerance of between 15 to 16.5%. It's a pretty quick fermenter. Fermentation range is going to be between 50 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and that translates into 10 to 32.2 degrees Celsius. Best wines to use with this particular yeast are going to be your whites and your reds. It's a good all-purpose yeast, and it's designed to ferment to total dryness. It will also take care of any stuck fermentations problems that you might be having as well. So that's a good wine yeast for that. Last and certainly not least is going to be our Premier Blanc. If you watch this wine channel for any length of time, you would have noticed that this is the wine yeast that I use most often, primarily due to the fact that this was the only wine yeast I had. And it's a good thing that this yeast was the one that I selected, because this wine yeast is good for everything. Although primarily it's designed for your whites and your rosés. I've used it for everything that I've made on this channel so far. Well, there are 2 batches that I use something different, but for the most part, this is the wine yeast that I've used for basically everything. Okay, it's a very quick fermenter. It has a alcohol tolerance of 18%, so it does get up there. It has a fermentation range of between 60 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which translates into 15.6 to 30 degrees Celsius. Again, this will ferment to very dry. Its cousin, the Premier Cuvee, will also handle stuck fermentations, although it's been rare. I don't think I've had any. No, I had one. I had one stuck fermentation. Added a little bit more for the Premier Blanc, and that was the end of that problem. So again, there we are. Have the Red Star Homebrewer Wine Yeast selection. Any of these yeasts will definitely do a good job on whatever wine that you have to be producing. I would suggest that if you're looking for the Lalvin equivalents, you can find those in the comment section below. And if you find any of this information in any way useful, please click on the subscribe button and let me know that, hey, it's time for me to do more videos like this one.